Hi there, David Palomo from Summit County Songwriters, and just following up from the tech talk I did at the October monthly meeting here about a week ago. And in that meeting, I did an introduction to looping to introduce our tech talk series. And someone pointed out to me after it was over that I kept talking about how easy it is to paint loops and to sketch out some things pretty quickly. So I thought I'd do a little follow up today and just show you how easy it is to paint loops and put something together that you can then refine and work with. But mainly, I want to show you how easy it is to use the Sony Acid Music Studio. So, and we're using the Sony Acid Music Studio, which is the light version. The full body version is Sony Acid Pro. But to begin, what I've done is I've selected just arbitrarily this collection of loops called Acid Loops 1 in my library. It's what I named it. And you'll see that in the navigation pane on the left, whatever I select on the left shows up on the right. So if I want to look at the basses, there are all the basses. And in fact, for this one, I used Bass Funk 04 up here and Rumble Slap 02, which is over here. We'll hear those in a second. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint the loop all the way through measure 40. And again, just a reminder, these notches tell you how long the clip is. And in this case, the clip is measure 1, measure 2. It's 2 measures long. So I'm going to zoom back out. Do another one of these. Here we go. All right. Next, let's just play it. And again, this we'll play it from the beginning. And let's hear how that Bass Funk 4 might sound. This is how you audition. And this is how you take the volume down on the audition channel. So that's what we're going to use here. I'm going to just start out with 4 measures of this just to establish a motif. And then I'm going to bring in the second bass line here using the rumble slap. And for the rumble slap, I'm going to just go ahead and take it all the way out to here. And again, it's a 2 measure loop. So let's listen to that transition. Here comes the new one. All right. Then I'm going to show you another little trick up here. I'm going to move these brackets over here. And then I'm going to select this. And now what's going to happen is every time it starts playing within these brackets. When it gets here, it's going to come back to here. So it just loops that section. And the reason I wanted to do this is just to show you then how we could audition those keyboard loops. So the one I selected is Sirius Clav 2, and you can hear when we get this going. I might have tried this. Or maybe this. Not really good. That might have worked. Probably not. The one we chose was this one. I like that one because it had a lot of syncopation that I thought would fit really well. So again, 4 measures to establish that motif, 4 measures to establish that motif, and then let's bring in our Sirius Clav. And let's take it from this so we can hear. Let's take it from the top so we can hear the transition. Let's turn off our segment loop, and here we go. Now, another thing I'm going to point out is this loop here, the Sirius Clave 2, is actually a very long loop. You can see that it is 1, 2, 3, 4 times the length of all our other loops, which are 2-measure loops. So after this plays, for the full length of this single loop here, I thought I would bring back in my first bass and it reestablished that motif. So I'm going to take that one all the way out here to measure 28, beat 4, end of measure 28. And again, 4 measures to establish the motif. And then this time, let's bring in the synth. And again, we can audition that. Come over here, turn this on. Let's go over to our synthesizers and start from here. Here's Tom Tom Plug. That didn't fit. I might add that later on if I was going to continue with this. Obviously not going to work. Did that. Wow, I don't want to use that. That might have worked. That's too bassy. It didn't contrast it well enough, so I'm going with this one. It's got kind of a drum sound to it. And it's a little bit lower register compared to the clavicle or the Sirius Clave piece that we just had. So let's paint it in. Again, 2 measures. Here it comes. Now at this point, let's turn off our loop again, our loop segment. And here's where I was going to put in a break. And the break is going to be this loop here, which is actually a turntable scratch. You'll see that there are turntables here. And I used the fast talk. Use that one. I'm going to paint it 4 measures. And then we've reestablished this motif. We're going to just bring it back home with our second bass part. And this time I'm going to do both the keys and the synth. So just taking it so we can hear the break and hear the transition into the last part. Okay, let's listen to that from the top. While that's playing, I'm going to put some fades in at the end. So it's going to play this full loop right here. And here's our bass motif number 1. here's the synth. And here comes the break, coming up with a scratch. And then both the keys and the synth with bass motif number 2. And the fade. All right, now let's show you one other thing. We're going to start from the beginning, and you might notice that here's our beats per minute. Here's our tempo down here, and let me show you how easy it is to change tempo. So just like that, you can also double click in here and say make it 120 even and go like that. And of course I had it going at 115. And here's 110. As I said, and as we saw, you can also do it kind of dynamically. So I hope that gives you some basics to work with. Again, you can switch the beats per minute here. Very simple to draw your loops, and you use these windows down here to find what you want to work with. So come see us at the Summit County Songwriters. See you then.